on what was going to be accepted here in the community and played toward a certain segment of the community and the kind of music that segment did not feel that it was being addressed. And they definitely seem to have done their research. And I think that even Suleiman, in the new role as being the head of it, is trying to continue that. So that will give them a shout out. And they're not the only ones, but then there have been other festivals that I don't know necessarily do the research. Some of them may be new, some of them may be old. I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, I think when it comes to whether, it's festivals or concerts, et cetera, I mean, that's event planning, and that's a skill on its own. And I think that a lot of people will try to put on these events, not knowing everything that goes into it, not wanting to learn what it means to plan an event and what is required of planning an event. And so they get in these situations where the event isn't successful, and then they want to do another one and not learn from it, and they're like, well, last time I didn't make that much, so let me just promise this artist pennies, just in case.
Yeah, I think that's definitely been the case in some cases where people have not done enough research. Because for both of you, I mean, that's one of the things that we've talked about on this show, whether it's been with art or whether it's been visual art or whether it's been with music or any playwrights and poets, is that how often do you think that enough of us actually, as artists and just people in general, understand the nature of what it means to be in show business? I mean, you have a very fortunate job in the sense that you have at least three of the elements of what is in show and business. You definitely have some business background. You definitely are a masterful musician, and you have the law degree. So, I mean, that's three of the elements that are definitely all part of show business. I'm sure there are other elements as well, but if you think of show business as an overall industry, that's three of the primary three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it just goes back to making an earnest investment in that that you take seriously. I believe that it's incumbent upon people to really study that thing that they seek to be involved in, and certainly performing and being a skilled performer is one part of that, but that is simply one part of that. I think that, again, the point is made and stands to be repeated, that you just live your life in a way that exemplifies how serious you are about what you're doing.
Right, and I think that's definitely something that more folks need to do. If they're going to go into the art form, be committed to the art form and not just do it half-heartedly. I do think that some people, which I know is a whole other conversation, some people go into the art as more hobbyists than actual musicians. And I know that can sometimes be an issue even within bands, because sometimes you might have a band where half of the band is serious about the music and want the music to go to a certain degree. They might want a record deal. They might want to have various venues, performances, and some of them are perfectly content with only playing on the weekends. And sometimes they're all within the same band.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a place for everybody. I mean, I would yield for somebody who just wants to live a part of their life in music as a hobbyist. There's a place for that. But I believe that when you move up and your stages get bigger and the requirements of those stages increases, that you should meet it with the requisite levels of accomplishment and seriousness about what you're doing.
Now, this is for both of you, and I know this is different levels because you're on different levels in terms of your career and everything, but for both of you, where would you like to, what is like the next goal? Like I said, John, you just became a full professor now, and Bala, you're still pursuing the music career after having graduated from UNC, so both of you have that Tar Heel connection and everything, but what would be the next step for you? Is there something that you're definitely looking forward to, or something that you've got in mind that people should be on the lookout for? And we'll start with Mbala first, and then come to John.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Me as an artist, the thing that I really wanted to do is master live performance, to be a little bit more present. I'm going to be, I'm going to expose myself a little bit here, and I think that a lot of artists can relate. Just trying to find the way to kind of give up, the nerves that come up right before you go on stage. So I know for me that meant, having some wine. And so really trying to let go of that and be fully present in my performance so that I can control every note that I sing and put intention behind every single thing that I do when I'm up there, has been one. And then two, to find a similar place when I'm recording, meaning to just improve on my vocal ability, improve my writing, improve all of these things, and put out a project that shows that. That shows that I've been studying and that I've been trying to get better. And then third, going on tour. I'm trying to put together my first.
Yeah, because one of the things I've noticed about is that I believe you have at least one friend of mine that is one of your dancers. So it seems to me that you're incorporating, and I know you had it at the Art of Cool show a few years back, but it seems like you're incorporating even more of the dance element, including some traditional dance.
Yeah, there's some of that, and I'm doing more with actual live instruments now, because at the time, because of the hip hop element of the songs, I was just running with the track a lot. But now I'm trying to make it a point to be very consistent with the band, which means a lot more rehearsals and a lot more studying music.
And John, what do you have coming up next? You always got something amazing coming up.
Yeah, I kind of live in this perpetual top secret world that you're watching my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds to see what's coming up next. I've got no shortage of ideas, and it's just a matter of which one I feel like I want to get some daylight to first. To answer your question more directly, I've started my Carolina Big Band, which is a large ensemble mixed in with people from North and South Carolina, focused on the music of North and South Carolina natives. And it's been a few years since I've been able to put that band on stage with any kind of consistency. So that's one area where I'm really focused. We had a wonderful reception in our first concerts, and I've been called on to do. I mean, you mentioned earlier that I've got 7 different bands I put on stage, but I'm looking to create more opportunities for that band to get out and do some more, because a part of it is simply about performing, and the other part is inspiring people who want to write and arrange for the band so that it lives a full life that has a jazz ensemble footprint, but its reach goes well beyond that genre. In fact, I say that band is playing everything from James Taylor to James Brown. So be on the lookout for some more activity of the Carolina Big Band.
Okay, and what does the Groove Band have? Does that have any shows coming up anytime soon, or do you have anything coming up with the Funk Band that you have?
Yeah, well, they're the same. I call it the Groove Shop Band, which what gives me flexibility to play any of my non-jazz genres. All the other bands are a jazz group of some configuration. But yeah, in fact, the Groove Shop Band has a concert in the new Rocky Mount Mills. That's our next thing. It's coming up on May 17th. My little big band just performed there last Friday night, and we have the Groove Shop playing there on May 17th, free, open to the public, and it's a really nice venue. So in my immediate, that's the next thing that we have coming up that's public.
And that actually brings up something interesting. It seems to me that North Carolina is opening up more and more venues. I know that the venue in Rocky Mount that you just mentioned, Henderson has got a venue that the Road to the Apollo has performed at. I think that you may have done something there as well, or they're at least talking to you. Kirby seems to be doing more music in Roxborough. So is that a correct perception? Does it seem that we're getting not just great venues here in the Triangle, but it seems like a lot of our smaller communities are also realizing the importance of art and are creating venues and are attracting even some of our people from the Triangle to come and perform at their venues?
That's for me?
Yeah, for John.
Okay. Well, you mentioned this earlier, and I believe that art is responding to the needs that are created by society right now. We don't really have to have much conversation about our division in the country and how politics have created an environment that is unlike anything that I thought I'd see in my lifetime. And I believe that there's just a need for healing of wounds and need for solace in our nation. And I think that seeing more musicians come forward, seeing more presenters try to come out, seeing more venues open up is simply responding to the cry that is coming from us as individuals for the healing that arts provide.
And Mbala, would you comment on the healing to art as well? Because I know that some of your music is all about that, and he's right. We are definitely in some trying times, and art has definitely played a very vital role in trying to heal some of these divisions that are going on.
Yeah, I think. Well, can you rephrase the question for me?
Yes, definitely. I was just wondering if you could comment on how important art is as a healing tool, particularly in this particular era that we live in, when there are so many heartaches that are going on in political divisions.
I'll say it's hard for me to comment on the importance of it, per individual, but I'll say that one of the number one reasons that I got into music was because of how it does unite people just universally. It's a universal language that makes it such that people with completely opposing views can connect on one thing. So, in that respect, I would absolutely say that it has healing properties. Just to be able to feel connected to another person through liking something, liking the same thing, and just even on its own, I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, because one of the interesting things we had Tony Springs on, who's doing some stuff with prison reentry, but he's also known as one of the primary musicians with Liquid Pleasure. I mean, not the founder of that group that's been around forever, but definitely a principal performer with them on a regular basis. And he was talking about how one of the things that he really admired was the fact that he got to perform for several presidents as a part of Liquid Pleasure and some of Liquid Pleasure's offshoot bands. But the interesting thing was that they were from different political parties. So I think that in one case he had performed for one of the Bushes, and in another case it might have been the Obama and I think Clinton, and it might have even been the other Bush. But it seems to me that it was across both the sides of the aisle. So you're right, music has definitely played a vital role, and it's something that people can agree on, even if they have serious disagreements on other things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things I was just curious about, John and I, you know me, I'm Mr. Network here, so have you done any work with any hip-hop artists or any world artists? And if so, maybe I could put you and Mbala together and y'all could do some work together, because I'm always trying to put that thing together.
Well, I'm all about collaboration and honoring whatever is in the universe for us to connect. I'm open to collaborating with anyone who is passionate about what they're doing and serious about making something meaningful. So wherever that opportunity exists, you can sign me up for at least a conversation, and get us in a room with some instruments and see what we can make happen.
So that sounds like a plan right there. You just got to find the same room. He's there. That's right. I never got the answer to that. How many more, or have we already done the last one of the jazz jams are there, or do we have a few more left?
Oh, yeah. So the reason that I'm available tonight is because classes are over, and that also means that the jam sessions for the year are over. We will start the Jazz at the Mary Lou Jam session back again in early September, likely the second or third week of September after classes get settled in. So be on the lookout. We want everybody to come, and like we covered earlier, it's a place where Duke opens its doors. And whether you're a performing musician, if you're a learning musician, or if you're a person who just wants to be around music, we invite everybody to come and be a part of Jazz at the Mary Lou.
And then actually, a friend of mine asked me this, and I've been to a couple of them, but I've not been to all of them, so I'm not going to lie when they asked me the question. So I did not know the answer. But when I've been to the jazz jams, it's usually instrumentation that's going on. There have been a couple of traditional jazz vocalists. But I had a friend that was a poet and another friend that was involved in other musical forms. And when I mentioned the jazz jam, they were like, that sounds wonderful. I need to go check it out. And then they asked me the next question, which was, will they incorporate my music? And I was sitting there going like, I don't know. I need to ask John.
It is a welcoming environment, but I do try to preserve the spirit of what it originally is intended. Not that it can't evolve.